and welcome to this Dawn Busters Taste Challenge. This morning, October 15th, 2019 at 5:39 a.m. Central Daylight Time. If you're in California, 3:39 a.m. If you're in New York City, it's 6:39 a.m., etc. Okay, here is Lord Calvert, Canadian, the famous Lord Calvert. Well, I don't know about famous because I don't think anybody in Louisiana, aside from me, ever heard of it. I guess a few people have. I did buy it in Louisiana, in Marrero, Louisiana, on United States Highway 90, Route 90 business route, westbound, at Budget Saver, Labourie's Budget Saver. Sitting on the shelf by itself. Looked like it had dust on it. I said, well, that's one bottle left that they couldn't get rid of. That was my assumption, usually to be stocked, bottles and bottles of each brand. I said $10.99 plus the 10% plus tax. But Labourie's is one of those cost plus 10% more markets. A little too expensive probably, but I figured I'll never see it again. And I was right, because I have never seen this again in a store to my recollection. I saw Lord Calvert Black last year in Georgia, and I thought it was common. So I was just like, I don't want to pay $11.99. I'll get it next time I see it, which has been never. Age 3 years. Introduced in 1964, they're saying, but I have evidence that would show that it was clearly long before that. I think the confusion is because it was introduced in 1964 by Seagrams, by the way, Seagrams, for the United States market. And now it's no longer sold in Canada. Seagrams Seagram sold Lord Calvert to Beam Company, the Beam Company. It's not Jim Beam, the company is called the Beam Company. Beam Suntory now. Around 1991, they sold it, and then in 2015, Beam didn't want it. Beam Suntory, when Suntory took over, they started shedding a lot of brands, so they sold it to Luxco of Missouri. All right, that's the story of that. Over there. Peps dog, what are you doing up? I'm sitting in a chair doing a taste challenge. All right, so here is Seagram's. Has a real ribbon. I guess that's nylon, whatever that material is, material they use for like presents, gifts. But anyway, Seagram's, imported Seagram's VO Gold, aged 8 years. Signature blend. I saw this at Winn-Dixie and it was like $28.99 or $29.99. I said, y'all have gone crazy. Y'all have really flipped out. I think Mathern's has it for hold on, let me go get a towel. Mathern's has it for like $22.99. But Winn-Dixie can have some outrageous prices, like prices that are totally beyond any reasonable measurement. And I'm not worried about Winn-Dixie. I don't know what's going on with Southern grocers. They could go out of business tomorrow. I wouldn't be shocked. But I do go in there because occasionally you'll find a good deal. And if you're looking for out-of-date beer, you really got something because they have a lot of it. I was looking in their cooler, their make-your-own six-pack cooler, and some of the beers like Best Buy 2017. I said, nice, nice. Okay, enough of that. This says, signed by Arthur Peterson. It is his signature blend. Is the master blender of Seagram's VO. Now, I don't know if he's still the master blender. This thing You know, this little essay on the back might have been written in 1998 when the thing was introduced. He has earned this right after 35 years of patient study. It says, visit us at vowhiskey.com. Don't even bother, because if you type in vowhiskey.com, it's going to directly link you to, it's going to take you to thebar.com, which is the Diageo website. Well, Diageo bought, I can't speak, I was going to say most. Diageo bought the Seagram's whiskey lines when Seagram's went out of business in 2000. Pernod Ricard bought the gin and some other stuff from them, but and Diageo bought this. Well, I'm not sure about that. All right, so they bought the Seagram's whiskeys. Last year, they sold a bunch of them to Sazerac. So Sazerac bought the VO and the VO Gold. Now, I know what you're going to say. Well, you said VO Gold was discontinued. Why are you still talking about it? Well, I wrote them an email 2 years ago, and I said, I can't find it on the website. And the lady said, VO Gold has been discontinued as of this year. Okay, so it didn't make it 20 years. But it's aged 8 years. So the first batch, 98, had started aging in 1990, right? In the barrels, and then they rolled it out in 98. So if they discontinued it in 2017 and they had already put a good supply of it in barrels, it could be 2025 to still be on the shelf. And then that's the new bottles coming out, and then they could just be lingering for years. So I see so much of this stuff in every store, Seagram's VO Gold. And they got big bottles too, big 1,750 milliliter bottles, glass, not plastic. So my feeling is this could be on the shelves for at least 10 more years because of the backstock of it. And who knows, Sazerac might decide that Diageo wasn't doing a proper job with it, and they might bring it back. I don't know. I know they got a supplier agreement. They said that, a supply agreement. In other words, Diageo is going to keep supplying them with the Seagrams for until obviously the aging's done, and then Sazerac will take it up. Let's see, anything else. They bought some other Seagram's brands that I never heard of. Well, I never seen here, like Seagram's 83. I don't even know what that is. And then they bought one called Seagram's 5-star. They kept the 7 Crown though. Diageo kept 7 Crown, Seagram's 7 Crown, because that's the big seller, one of the top 5 whiskeys in America. So they didn't want to let that go. But I guess these other brands are like kind of underperforming, mainly due to getting no promotional attention. So Sazerac does that. They go around buying struggling brands that the company's tired of fooling with, and then they try to revitalize it, like they did with Southern Comfort. That was their big purchase, Southern Comfort, about 4 years ago, and they paid as much up for it as you would for a professional sports team. I mean, it's like big money. Okay, enough of the background. It is a taste challenge. After all, it's not a history lesson, but that's sometimes more interesting than the challenge. But so there's Venerable Seagram's, a venerable name at least, because the company is gone. It was real screwed up. They same old story. The child takes over. He's incompetent. He runs it in the ground, because they were in the 90s buying magazine companies, amusement parks. It's like some of the people were saying, I thought it was a liquor company. So they started noticing around 1999. You remember they had a little recession in 99, 2000. They noticed that their payout was higher than their receipts. In other words, they had a lot more money going out than coming in. And it was, the company couldn't even cover their debt. Well, you know what happens when you don't cover your debt? You can't pay your creditors. You're no longer a company. All right. So they got dissolved. They're both gold, but I think the VO gold is a deeper gold. I think I have these at the same level. The Lord Calvert has more drippy legs, alcohol legs, and the Seagrams has more of a sheet. Huh. I don't really think it's going to be that much of a challenge because I think Seagram's is better, more dignified, refined. Well, think about it. I paid $23 for this VO gold, and I paid. Let me figure this out. I paid exactly. I'm gonna tell you exactly what I paid. I'm talking about before tax now. $12.09. Gotta remember. I keep forgetting about that add-on. $12.09 plus $23. I think it was $22.99. But anyway, nearly twice the price. Now, is it going to be twice as nice? I don't think it's going to be twice as nice. It's going to be better, my prediction. The VO Gold is going to be noticeably different, and it's going to be a better product. Just a better whiskey, age 8 years. That doesn't always mean anything because the Gibson's Finest Rare is age 12 years. I don't see where that's even good. I thought so at first when I did a solo. And a solo is fine as long as you don't make the mistake of putting it in challenges. When it's only competing against itself, you can enjoy that whiskey the rest of your life, be so happy. But by golly, when you put it in a taste challenge, other whiskeys, it's same with beer and wine, same with beer. It starts pulling out flavors, and cognitively you start noticing it. Flavors and even detriments, things that aren't good that you wouldn't have noticed in a solo, a standalone. Okay. So that's going to be the argument there. Is it twice as good? Or let's say, is it significantly better? Well, that's all up to you. It's all trade-offs. You might say, well, I'd rather pay the $12. And in your case, it probably would be more like about 10. I think I paid too much for the Lord Calvert. But you might say, I'd rather pay $12 than 23 if it's only a little worse. And I wouldn't use the word worse for Calvert. It's just not as, because it's not bad. It's actually good. Certainly well, they both have sharp bottles today. That's the old beam bottle I'm showing you. That's an old Kessler, Julius Kessler style bottle from the pre-2015. The bottle they have now with that heavily embossed glass, it looks like a basket weave almost, and it's square. That's a sharp looking bottle, man. Oh yeah, that's great. So either one of those look like a decanter, an old 1950s whiskey decanter. So if you showed up somewhere with the Seagram's VO Gold or the Lord Calvert Canadian these days, people would be impressed because it's so nice looking, aesthetically nice looking. And then the Seagram's has that wrapped cap. You got to peel the wrapping off. You know, people say, "Ooh, good one." This smells like caramel and wood and candy. I'm telling you, Canadian whiskeys oftentimes smell like candy. They actually taste like candy, like 40% alcohol candy. If you like sweet things, they may work for you. Oh, wow, baby. This one's even more candy than the other one. This is even more candy-like. This one's like, oh, like you melted the candy. I don't know what kind of candy, like a hard candy, like a peppermint, maybe the Starlight mint. And then you had the syrup. You know what I'm saying? And it become a liquid, coagulated liquid thing. You know what I'm talking about? It's like semi-liquid. But if you let it set out, it turns solid again after about 20 minutes. But It has that. Now, what else? Oh, a candy corn. Well, corn, maize. Canadian whiskeys generally are almost all corn, like bourbon. I read a good article, the similarities between Canadian whiskey and bourbon. It's a lot more similar than you may have at first believed. And there are a lot of ways different too, but they're more similar than you may have thought. A little wood, a little even char, if you can believe it. I don't really believe it. I think I'm smelling it wrong. I don't think it's got char. Oh, you know what? I think there could be rye spice, and it's got me thrown off. It is, after all, not even 6 a.m. But Canadian whiskeys I have rye whiskey in the mix. Wheat, they could be minimally wheated. They will be minimally wheated, but they could be heavily wheated. Barley malt whiskey, like in Scotland, you would call that single malt whiskey. And they could have they may have 10%. It's probably not, probably isn't. It may be, depends which brand. It could be rum, brandy, sherry wine, bourbon in the mix. It'd be minimal amounts, but it could give it a unique flavor. It's like beer. You could take two beers that have the same ingredient list percentages, like the Steel Reserve 211 8.1 and the Steel Reserve 211 triple export in the black can. They have the same specs, everything, grams of fat, calories, everything, alcohol level 8.1, but they don't taste alike. People in the beer world know they don't taste alike. How could they not taste alike? They have the same specs. And the theory, and I think it's a very solid theory, I think Jeff Brister came up with it. He said, but you have to consider that they might use different hop lineup. That wouldn't change the specs, more than likely, but it would change the flavor, different hop extracts. I said, woof, I didn't think of that. And that's why the triple exports. And the same thing with these. A little bit more sherry. The other one got a little bit less sherry. This one got more rye. This one got less rye. And so therefore, you got different flavors. Now, these are this is 8 years in a barrel versus 3 years in a barrel. Used barrels, not fresh barrels, used bourbon barrels. That's why you don't get the char. Now, would a Canadian whiskey be allowed to use a fresh barrel? Sure, they have some. They can't be called bourbon because they're not from the United States of America, but they could essentially be it in a practical sense. In a practical sense, but not in a legal sense. Yeah, now you see the gold. I know this has got to be the gold. I hope it is. It's got a lot of wood. Now, my daughter was even saying, oh, wow, it's really good. She didn't know a whit about Canadian whiskey and cares even less about it. But she likes whiskey, but she prefers gin, but she likes whiskey. But she said, oh, this is really good. Her experience, like I said, her experience with Canadian whiskey is virtually zero, zilch. But she's very pleased with this one. You could watch the review. She just liked it so much. I said, yeah, you see, it's like different worlds. Her Scotch, she won't. She said, I don't like Scotch. And now she's all into gin. That's a big thing for younger women, especially gin. Gin and juice, gin and this, gin and that. And it kind of crosses racial line, like black women, white women. They are in gin. An engine. Hey, but if that's what they like. It's very mellow, and I said that the VO was demure, and this is even more demure. It has everything you wanted in VO and more. You know what I mean? It better have more. It costs $8 more a bottle. It better have more. At least $5 more per bottle. The Calvert. All right. It's 3 years age, and it's kind of like that, kind of not too aged. It just, you're not getting wood. You're just getting a lot of candy syrup, candy corn. Some kind of flavor, but there's no bad bite. Now, that's a good thing about the Calvert, because some of these Canadian whiskeys, or any whiskeys, I don't care if it's Scotch, Irish, American, Canadian, they'll have some bad bite to them. It's like snapping at you. It's like, wow. But this one has no bite. It's just like drinking liquid candy syrup. If you like that, I mean, I don't die for that. I'm not chasing that taste, but I'm not running from it. It's not offensive in any way to me. I mean, I read reviews for some of these things and people say, oh, it's terrible. It tastes like gasoline. It tastes like airplane glue. It tastes like a Band-Aid. It tastes like a rubber band. And maybe some of them do, but a lot of these reviews are ones I'm trying, and I'm like, I don't taste any Band-Aid. I don't taste any airplane glue. I don't taste any gasoline. I don't know what they're talking about. Now you get but those may be just, I don't know what that is. But then you get some more sensible reviews, and they'll say like what I'm saying, like, oh, well, you know, it's kind of all right. They'll say it doesn't have enough wood character or something like that. It'd be more reasonable. You can find that in the beer world too. Like, just type in, this is always the lesson I say, type in Budweiser on Beer Advocate Raper. You can always tell the crazy reviews from the good ones. The bad ones will be like, they'll give it a 0. First, they'll score like a 2 out of 100. Can you imagine that? If a beer was a 2 out of 100, you would almost certainly die if you drank half the bottle. Okay, that's not possible. It cannot be that bad. The worst beer on earth ain't a 2 out of 100. And then they'll talk about tastes like cat urine, tastes like horse urine drained through a dirty sock. I didn't know they had sampled those. Tastes like garbage, rotten vegetables, garbage can, ashtray. It's like totally off the wall. And then you'll get the good Budweiser reviews. They might not even like it. They might say, I don't really like this beer, but it has some rice flavor. It's prickly carbonation. It does go down smooth, whatever, you know, and they'll give it a sensible evaluation. And you get that you can always figure out which reviews make sense and which are craziness. And you really get that in the beer, in the video reviews. I meant to say the video reviews. Because you could tell when people are just hustling for a cheap laugh. You know, they'll say, today on Jiminy Cricket whiskey reviews, we're gonna review this Jack Daniels, everyone's favorite garbage whiskey. I haven't drank this since I was 13. Well, it's not a review. That's a slam video. I've said that so many years since I started my channel in 2010. If it's beer, whiskey, if you're already talking how garbage the beer is, and then they'll drink it. Oh God, I'm gonna puke. I said, this is not a real video. It's kind of like those reaction videos. Watch a brother listen to Pink Floyd. And I hate those videos. They're so staged and they're so stupid, you know. We're gonna let this guy listen to Dark Side of the Moon, you know. And I'm like, why would people watch that? And they're like, got the headphones. Oh Lord, that song sure is psychedelic. That's got me freaked out. I must have been smoking on a blunt. I'm like, give me a break. This is the worst. This is the worst in video production. Not to mention all the other things it is. Or Irish people drink American beer. Oh, top of the morning to you. I would rather be stuck with the needles than drink such a horrible product. Oh, let's go eat some stew together after we tried this horrible beer. I'm like, people watch this on the internet. Okay. That's what I need to start doing. Get 100 million thousand views. They don't taste alike. They taste like whiskey, of course, but they don't taste alike. The VO Gold is better because it's not all candy cane. It has some wood and like I said. But is it $10 a bottle better? No. Comes to Kansas City Southern. They got to blow their horn because they crossing the state highways, 3223, Louisiana Highway 3224, and then down another mile, 2 miles, Louisiana Highway 44. So they got to blow the horn. I don't know why they got Louisiana Highways named 3000 something, 3224. There is no 2000s. In the whole state, there's not a Louisiana Highway 2000 or anything. So talk about psychedelics. Is somebody coming up with the state highway numbering system get on psychedelics? Because there's no sense behind it. Like, it doesn't make any sense. All right, so I can't say that it's $10 a bottle better. I'm not gonna say that. I don't know. I really don't know it. It's up to you. But they don't taste the same, and the Lord Calvert is not as good as the Seagram's VO Gold. I don't think so. But I would say it's more like a $5 difference, well, $6 difference. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think it's $10 better. And anyway, what difference does it make? Because I don't think the Lord Calvert is too popular, and I don't think the Seagram's VO Gold is too popular. I see it on the shelves. I hear no one ever talking about it. It doesn't look like it's really moving. So I can assure you I'm not worried about it. But anyway, so let's see. This better not say LC. If this says LC, I'm gonna feel really, really embarrassed. No, it doesn't. Ha 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 ha. You thought I was gonna get it wrong? Is that what you thought? No, I don't think it's possible to get these wrong. I mean, unless you have no experience with it. But then it's not even a taste challenge because you've never had either one. So how is that a taste challenge? How would you even know? You could know which one's better. Now, yeah, I could say this one tastes better. But how you gonna call the brands? Like, I think this is this, and I think this is that. You never drank them before. You have no experience. So it wouldn't make any sense. But yeah, I would recommend both. And I would give a strong recommendation to both, actually. I think the Lord Calvert is really good. It is a little sweet and sugary, though. So get ready for that. If you don't like candy syrup, you may not like it. But if you like sweet, sugary, it's not really sugary, though. It's candy sugar is different than like a bag of sugar. It's, I don't know. If you never had it, I can't describe it. But who hasn't had a Starlight Mint? You know, say peppermint. Well, yeah, because you got rye spice. That gives you like the pepper part, the pepper component. And then the candy syrup gives you the candy. So it is not necessarily that different than a peppermint. It is different. It's not necessarily that different. It goes down smooth. Is Lord Calvert one of the best Canadian whiskeys I ever had? Well, I don't know about all that, but it's far from the worst. It's definitely up there in the mix. It's the dynamite product when you consider the price point. So I wouldn't get tired of it. Like, I wouldn't get tired of it if I drank it every day. I wouldn't get tired of it. I would not. There's many I would get tired of it as I'm drinking it. In present tense, I'm getting tired of it. The VO Gold is dynamite. I'm not too sure about $23 a bottle, but it's definitely worth a try. If you never had VO Gold, I think you should. If you're a fan of whiskey and you like trying different products, you got to try it. I mean, you can't really not try it. You know what I'm saying? It's like a person saying, I'm a whiskey enthusiast. I love whiskey. You never had VO? I ain't never had Seagam's VO. My friend said it was bad. Your friend said it was bad, but you never had it. No, well, it's been on the market since 1911. And this has been on the market. Well, it was on the market 98 to 017, still on the market, at least backstock and probably new. Yeah, you got to try it. You know what I'm saying? It's like, you got to try it. It's like you're in the beer and you never tried Budweiser. Okay, sure. There's something you must try. To me, you must. So two winners, double approach, conflict. Either way you choose, you're getting a good product. There's no downside. There's really no downside to either one of these, honestly. What's coming up next on Thursday? I'm trying to think what's in my lineup. Oh, I can't remember the exact order. Oh, I know what it is. It's Rich and Rare, another winner, and that's really good because it's $7 and something at Walmart. So we got Rich and Rare, and you know it has to come next on Saturday. Rich and Rare Reserve, you know that's got to happen. Then we got Canadian Hunter, a classic. Some people love their Canadian Hunter now. You got Canadian Hunter fans, and if you talk dog about Canadian Hunter, they will fight you. I mean, I wouldn't fight for it. I like it, but I wouldn't, get mad about it. But then Canadian Hunter, it's got a following bigger than I had imagined. And then we got the Caliber. Well, we'll talk about that later. All right, thanks for watching this video. Oh, we got Royal Canadian, a venerable brand. I didn't say it was popular. I said it was venerable. Been on the market since 1934. Can you believe that? 1934. That's 85 years ago. And Royal Canadian, well, we'll talk about that later. Thanks for watching this video production.